I still remember that Christmas morning as clearly as if it happened yesterday. The smell of roasted turkey filled the house, children's laughter echoed through the living room, and carols played softly in the background. It was supposed to be a day of warmth, family, and gratitude. The kind of day I used to dream of when I was raising my son alone. But that year, Christmas felt colder than the winter air outside, because for the first time in my life, I was made to feel like a burden in my own family's celebration. My name is Martha. I'm 68 years old, a retired schoolteacher, and a widow of 15 years. My husband, Daniel, passed away when my son, Ryan, was just 12. From that day on, it was just the two of us, me and my boy. I worked double shifts, skipped meals, and did whatever I had to just to make sure he had everything he needed. I was proud when he became an engineer, proud when he bought his first home, and proud when he introduced me to the woman he wanted to marry, Amanda. Amanda was beautiful, smart, and confident. I was genuinely happy for Ryan. I thought she was perfect for him. But as time went on, I started noticing the subtle distance she created. It began with small things. She'd forget to invite me to family dinners, she'd talk over me in conversations, and she'd roll her eyes when Ryan mentioned how much I'd done for him growing up. I ignored it, telling myself that maybe I was just imagining things. I didn't want to cause tension in their marriage. That Christmas, I decided to visit them, bringing along my famous homemade pecan pie. The one recipe that always brought my family together. I spent 2 days preparing it, wanting to contribute something special to their holiday feast. When I arrived, the house was glittering with lights, laughter, and warmth. I smiled, thinking maybe things had changed. But I was wrong. Amanda greeted me with a polite but cold smile. "Oh, Martha, you're here," she said, her tone dripping with surprise rather than joy. I brushed it off and handed her the pie. "I brought dessert," I said cheerfully. She took it with a tight smile and set it on the counter without a word. As the evening went on, I tried to engage with the grandkids, telling stories and handing out little gifts I'd wrapped for them. But Amanda kept interrupting, calling them to help with something, or whispering something that made them giggle and run off. I sat alone by the fireplace, listening to the laughter coming from the dining room. When it was finally time for dinner, everyone gathered at the table, except me. I waited, assuming they'd bring out an extra chair, but they didn't. The table was full. I stood awkwardly for a moment before Amanda looked up and said, "Oh, sorry, Martha. We didn't realize you'd be staying for dinner. We only made enough for the people who contributed." The words hit me like a knife. I blinked in disbelief. "What do you mean?" I asked softly. She shrugged. "Well, you didn't really help with the meal or the groceries. Everyone here chipped in. It's only fair." Ryan's fork froze mid-air. He looked between us, clearly uncomfortable. "Amanda," he began, but she cut him off. "It's fine," she said sharply. "Your mother can have some of the leftover salad if she wants." The room went silent. My hands trembled as I tried to smile, to hide the humiliation burning inside me. "It's all right," I said quietly. "I'm not that hungry." I excused myself and went out to the porch, pretending to admire the snow. Inside, I heard the clinking of silverware, the laughter, the life that no longer seemed to include me. That night, I drove home in tears. I had never felt so small. For everything I'd done. For every night I stayed awake when Ryan was sick. For every dream I gave up to make his come true. I was now someone who didn't contribute. But I wasn't going to let bitterness eat away at me. No, I decided that night. If Amanda wanted to measure worth by contribution, then I would show her exactly what I was capable of contributing. The next year, I started small. I joined the community center's volunteer program, helping with children's tutoring and senior meals. My energy and passion quickly caught the attention of others. Soon, I was coordinating the entire holiday drive for underprivileged families. Local businesses donated food, clothes, and toys, and our little center became a beacon of hope for many. By November, our efforts had been featured in the local paper. The headline read, Retired Teacher Turns Loneliness into Community Magic. I smiled when I saw it. It wasn't revenge in the cruel sense. It was redemption through purpose. But fate had a funny way of completing the circle. That Christmas Eve, a week before our big community dinner, I got a call from Ryan. His voice was shaky. Mom, Amanda's family can't make it this year, and things have been rough between us. Could we maybe come to your place? I hesitated for a moment, then said warmly, Of course, sweetheart. You're always welcome here. When they arrived, the house was filled with the smell of roast beef, casseroles, and fresh bread. Volunteers bustled in and out, carrying trays and gifts. Amanda looked around, visibly stunned. You did all this? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. I smiled gently. Yes. We make sure everyone has a seat at the table, whether they contributed or not. Her face turned pale. She looked away, ashamed. That night, I watched as she helped serve the elderly and played with the children. And for the first time, I saw a different side of her. Humbled, quiet, human. Later, as the evening came to a close, Amanda approached me with tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, she said softly. I was cruel to you last year. I thought you were trying to control everything. But I see now how wrong I was. You've done more for people than I could ever imagine. I took her hand and squeezed it gently. It's okay, dear. Christmas isn't about what we give. It's about how we love. That night, as we sat together at the table, one big family surrounded by laughter, kindness, and second chances, I realized that my revenge had never been about payback. It was about rising above the hurt and showing grace where there once was bitterness. And in that moment, I finally understood sometimes. The sweetest revenge isn't to make others feel your pain, it's to show them how love can heal it. End.